Hello, let's talk today about some of the very basic needs for employing staff in Hong Kong. So first of all, contracts are not actually mandatory. They're highly recommended and they're simple to draft. Your accountant should be able to do it. I do it for clients all the time. I think it's very important to document the wages, the period, the notice, and the duration very clearly. And this ultimately is your piece of paper to say this is what we agreed and this is what's happened. Holidays, well, there's 12 holidays for statutory each year in Hong Kong, and then there's 7 to 14 annual awarded on top of that, dependent on length of service. Generally, we see people awarding more holiday than that for more white-collar jobs. Sickness leave, after 1 month, it accrues at 2 days per month, and then after a year at 4 days per month. And that's up to a maximum of 120. Most businesses we see don't really enforce the sickness leave policies, but it's there to protect you as a business if someone is frequently doing this and you're losing productivity. Sick leave officially is at 4/5 of pay. In general, we see people paying 100% out. In Hong Kong, there's something called a 13-month payment, which essentially is a 1-month bonus at the end of the year. This is very traditional, but in most startups I'm seeing, especially in the fintech space, this doesn't exist anymore. So it's very important to clarify that and make sure that if you're hiring staff, they know whether they will or will not get a 13th-month payment. You've got 7 days from the end of the wages period to pay staff, and that's very important to do so. There are minimum wage laws in place. These change from time to time. And all of your records, pay slips, leave taken, leave awarded, other such records, you've got to keep those for at least 12 months. There's a number of termination provisions and how you can terminate people, so I'm not going to go into that now. That's where you need to start talking to your advisors. You can do restrictive covenants, so you can prevent people from working for competitors, etc. Anything over 6 months and anything outside of the geography they've been operated in is becoming harder to enforce. There is actually no thing such as unfair dismissal, but there is unlawful dismissal. There is the ability to get rid of people, but you do need to follow a certain procedure. It's not as arduous as perhaps the UK and Australia, but again, this is a process is worth following. And then to sum up some other points, make sure that you have your immigration sorted, make sure you have your MPF sorted, and make sure that your employee compensation insurance is done. One point to make on MPF is whilst most sources you'll look at will say that it's mandatory, there are some exemptions. So, for example, if an expat is here and their contract is less than 13 months and their visa is less than 13 months, then they won't actually have to pay their MPF. So that's worth checking on. These are all big things, and you need to make sure that you do them because not knowing about them is not an excuse. The fines can actually be quite heavy. Generally, we advise clients to outsource their payroll. We can do it for them, but there are other providers as well. Any questions, please give me a shout.